You look so bright today. Did you do something to your cheekbones?
Yes.
You look very, what'd you do? Tell me about that.
I'm not telling anybody anything. Listen, you got to keep your beauty secrets to yourself. It was really funny because I leave. So I go to get my forehead done so that I don't make ugly faces at people, but I can still move my eyebrows. And I tell the lady, I was like, hey, I really want to just do a lighten and brighten thing before the Super Bowl. So my skin looks great, whatever. And 2 hours later, $3,000 later, I'm like, oh my God. And yeah. She's laughing. She goes, oh, Brett's going to think you look great. And I go, Brett's not even going to notice. And so actually I've been doing shows all week long and you were the first one to notice.
So let me tell you one of my secrets. I'm going to read everybody in a little bit. I always, right before we record, I'll always comment your hair, your outfit. It's a way to let you get to let your guard down. I'll just tell you how nice you look or whatever. And then you let your guard down right before the show starts. You didn't know that? You didn't pick up on that? I've been doing that for years.
John, I don't have a guard up around you. I just say whatever I want. That's the show. You don't need me to get you to let my guard down. I'm not a stranger.
Okay. So last week was one of the craziest football weekends ever because you had playoff games on Thursday and Friday in college. Can I say I don't think it was a smart move to do one of the college semifinals on Friday night? That was no good. But so they did the college football semis on Thursday, Friday, and then you had the wild card games Saturday, Sunday, Monday. How did you survive? How did Brett survive dealing with you for that period of time?
I think going back to the scheduling thing, I saw a lot of interaction, if you will, on social media about the game on New Year's Eve even, right? And I think that college football is a big enough animal, not that it can compete with the NFL, and it shouldn't try to, but also you just tell the NFL, hey, Sunday's your day. I would have much rather had 2 college football playoff games on a Saturday and had 5, 6, 7, 8 NFL games, whatever that was, on a Sunday and a couple on Monday or whatever, or do a Thursday night NFL game. I think it's very weird. Friday night was fine for me, but even, when I went out to dinner with my girlfriend and we had to move it to that first Thursday and she's like, are you good with that? I was like, we have to sit at the bar because I have to watch Notre Dame, Georgia. And
where did you go out to, where were you eating that dinner? Was it at a very fancy place?
Yeah, it was at a really nice restaurant called Ocean Prime. You probably heard of it, John. Yeah, it's great. And so we're just sitting there, enjoying life before dry January. Yeah. Now I haven't had a drink in 2 weeks. I'm very proud of myself.
That's great.
Really getting back at those people online that say I'm an alcoholic drunk.
Who said that? Somebody said that to you on Twitter?
It's because I get it. Whenever they see me, I'm always out and about. And I'm the type of social drinker that I just really enjoy having good cocktails or a glass of wine. And then you put me and Ariel together and it's just oh, they're just a bunch of drunken idiots. When that's not the case, we just don't see each other all that often. So when we do see each other, we like to have a little bit of fun, if you will. It's kind of like when you see Andy Samuelson.
I think that's okay.
When you see Andy, it's just going to be a long drunken weekend.
Andy Samuelson? Well, he's sort of in a permanent haze though. He doesn't really get too wild or too low. Sucks. It's just, what's up with Kansas? What's going on with those guys?
Listen, K-State too. I said K-State's like Texas. We got all the NIL money in the world. We got all this donor money. We got our coaches being paid buku bucks, and we suck. We got all these great big names, and guess what? They don't know how to play together. That's what Texas's problem's been forever, right? They got every 5-star and 4-star recruit in the state of Texas. But sometimes when you get those egos and those personalities together, they're not going to play well together versus a bunch of gritty 2- and 3-star kids who are really hungry and want to go out there and play their asses off for their coach. Anyway, what's wrong with Kansas? I don't know. Just keep betting the under. It's been a great underplay all season long.
Yeah, I've been going through college basketball a little bit. If Auburn wins a national championship, Auburn basketball, I won't have to worry about working for a while. A long while. Yeah.
You have an Auburn future.
But I would. But I'll still come to work the next day.
What's your Auburn future? Nice. Did you parlay it at the Westgate Superbook with other futures?
So you've got, what's yours again? Ravens to Florida.
Ravens to Florida. Florida looked really good, and then the other night I gave out Mizzou plus 10.5. They weren't supposed to win the game in Gainesville.
I was looking through that. That's a pretty big liability for us. Ravens and Florida, the KIV special. That's a big loss. That would be bad. But if the Ravens won the Super Bowl, we would win a lot. So we would get that money, and then we'd have to root against Florida, I guess. Okay. So that is interesting. Yeah, I've watched a little bit of college basketball. I try to watch Georgetown whenever I can watch Georgetown. They played St. John's Tuesday night, I think. No, they hung in there the whole game. The game they looked really bad in was Saturday. They played Connecticut at home. They got blown out.
Right, but St. John's is a good program. I went and saw them live, and St. John's second half has been a great bet. Another winner. Just blindly bet St. John's second half.
Are you gonna want to just bet Connecticut to win it all again and just win again, or do you not want to do that this year?
No, because they're not going to. We'll let our audience choose the chalk eating.
You won like $4,000. All right, but you want those chalk eating weasels made you like $4,000, and you didn't do anything. I mean that's. I mean, I know $4,000 is like a pittance.
Well, we would have won way. We would have won way more if somebody didn't have this bright idea to keep rolling over the money line.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. That's all my fault too. That I was so sure, and it was like, here we can show our listeners how much smarter this is, and it was so much dumber, and it cost us a bunch of money, but we still won. Well, your bright idea was to bet. Your bright idea was to bet like some 80-1 team that lost in the first round.
That's not true.
That's the kind of future.
That's not true. I liked Creighton.
Yes.
You be quiet.
And when did they go out?
I think they made it to the Sweet 16.
Second round. Did they? Oh, that's pretty good.
I think so.
Well,
I block all that stuff out of my memory. Like I don't want to focus on the losers, and I want to focus on the winners. Like we won on Connecticut, we're happy. We'll let our audience.
Can you agree that a Creighton? Will you agree with me that it was better that we bet Connecticut than betting Creighton?
Yes, of course it was.
Okay. All right, just making sure. So we didn't do well on Thursday. Thursday was the Orange Bowl. Everybody bet Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, Penn State got up 10-0. Notre Dame players were dropping like flies. I was feeling really good. I thought we were about to win this huge amount. I got to give Notre Dame a lot of credit. They hung in there. They battled back. The quarterback for Penn State made some questionable throws and pretty much gave the game away. But I do give credit to Notre Dame because with all their guys hurt, for them to stay in that game and come back and win, it's pretty impressive.
Who lost that game? Drew Aller or James Franklin?
That's a good question. I mean, you could definitely convince me of either one. I probably would say that Aller lost the game, but okay. I know what you're saying, and I don't think you're wrong. But the next night, I kind of felt like we got out of that game a little bit lucky because Texas had every opportunity to win that game. I mean, Ohio State had the screen pass. Ohio State throws a screen pass for a touchdown on like the last play of the first half. That was the only reason it wasn't tied at halftime. Then Texas is all the way down to the goal line, 21-14, late in the fourth quarter. They call that toss sweep, and they lose about 10 yards. And then, of course, there was the defensive touchdown to end the game. Texas was right there with Ohio State.
Yeah, but
I didn't think
the Texas defense was the intricate part there. The Texas offense was not anything impressive, which they haven't been all season long.
No, I agree with that.
They can't put the nail on the coffin. They just don't.
For Texas, they bottled up Jeremiah Smith.
Yes, they did.
They were right there. And I've thought all year that Ohio State was the best team in the country. I was actually impressed with Texas in that game. I thought they had every chance to win. I'm glad they did it because, as you know, we've got a very good future position on Ohio State. We had a very negative one on Texas, so it was a very good outcome for us. But I think we all kind of looked at each other. We came out of there. We got away with one there. So we were happy with that. Ohio State, Notre Dame is Monday night, national championship game. We were as high as 9.5 on this game. And we took a very respected bet on Notre Dame plus 9.5, and now we're at 8. So the whole market's come down off of this group's bet, and the public is going to bet Notre Dame money line. You know, I don't think it's going to be like. Do you remember the national championship game, 2012 maybe? It was Notre Dame against Alabama.
But it was in 2013. Yes,
2013.
And they got the doors blown off of it.
I think it was in the Orange Bowl. And it was the most square dog I've seen in my career. Every kid was betting Notre Dame and Notre Dame money line, and Alabama was up 21-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yep,
and the books did awesome on that game.
Yeah, it was over. It was
the
over
books
before
did
it started.
Yeah, well, Alabama could have won by more than they did. They called off the dogs. I don't think that's going to happen on Monday. I think those Alabama teams in that era were a little bit of a cut above of what we have any of these teams now. And I do think Notre Dame has improved. But Notre Dame does have a lot of guys hurt in this game. So keep that in mind going into Monday. They were able to overcome Penn State largely because Aller just kind of gave the game away. Unless Ryan Day and Will Howard do that on Monday, which I don't think they will. Well, I do think Ohio State should win this game pretty comfortably, but we'll see. That the group that took 9.5 is a very respected group. That was an eye-opening bet for me.
Okay, fair enough. I've got 15-4. I win on Notre Dame, and I've got 10-5. I win on Ohio State. So part of me thought, all right, maybe I should lay it with Ohio State. Then part of me said, you should just sit back and relax and enjoy the game. Then part of me thought, I might bet the under. I'm a little conflicted here. I do think that Ohio State runs away with it. And I'd like to win it the same amount.
Sit back. You don't have the capability to sit back, relax, and enjoy the game. You can't do that. That's not an option for you. No, it's not.
Why?
You might sit back, not relax, and complain about the game. I mean, I can see that, but you're not going to sit back and just, oh, this is fun. No, you're not. That's just not your nature, man. You're not going to do that.
All right, fine.
I think we're going to be.
I'm going to win at least. I'm going to win 10 units, regardless of what happens at the very least.
That's great. That's really good.
So I should be able to sit back and relax.
I'll ask Brett what he thinks. I don't see that happening. I'm going to call Brett on Monday. And I'm going to say, is she being relaxed? And he's probably going to laugh at me.
I'm going to be at a bar with CT really testing out my dry January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be, the lads are going to be over there getting some Naked City wings, watching the game. I wish Sam Paniatovich was going to be a part of that. Love Sam.
Love Sam. He's
at SP Shoot on Blue Sky.
He told me today he was not hedging Notre Dame. So.
Well, he asked me what I thought he should do before the game, before the semifinal. And I said, I should say before the second semifinal. Notre Dame at this time was in the title game. I said I thought it'd be a good idea to bet Ohio State money line for the Texas game, because if you somehow lost, your hedge would be so much more comfortable. And if Ohio State won, which they did, you'd have a few extra bucks in your pocket. But Sam's aggressive, man. He didn't do anything, so I wish him the best. And then our great friend Timmy Murray.
I think I kind of want to put 5. I think I have to put 7.5 units on Ohio State money line to get it to be the same amount. I'd win the same amount, and I just don't feel comfortable doing it.
Who do you think is gonna win the game?
I think Ohio State's gonna win. I think they're gonna blow them out. I think it could be 31-10.
I don't think you should be. Well, let me tell you something. If you think Ohio State's going to blow them out, those are your words, then I don't think you should be high on Notre Dame.
I'm not high on Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame in a Calcutta, and I win 5 more units on that side. I'm kind of wondering if I need to.
Then you're high on Notre Dame.
I'm not.
But then I
didn't draft them in the Calcutta.
But your higher win is Notre Dame. That's what I'm saying. You're high on Notre Dame.
So
your position is high on Notre Dame.
Yes, my position is.
I'm saying if you think Ohio State's going to blow them out, I'm saying you should be high to the Ohio State side.
So should I? That's my question. So should I be betting 7.5 units to win 5 units so I win the same exact amount no matter what? Or should
can you stop with the units? Just cut it out. Just stop saying units. All right. So if you think Ohio State is going to blow out Notre Dame, your position should be more favorable on Ohio State than Notre Dame. That's what I'm saying.
And which is a better position? Not laying the points. It's the money line.
Oh,
so
definitely. What if Ohio State wins by 3?
Amount of the money line to add to it.
That's what it sounds like you should do to me. If you think Ohio State's going to win, I think Ohio State's going to win. But okay. I was somebody that was high on Notre Dame all year. I mean, I picked them to make the playoff. Remember I told you that before the season, and you know how well we did on Notre Dame against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I did think they were going to lose to Penn State, but that was because I thought they had a lot of guys out. And I've been high on Notre Dame all season, and I defended their schedule constantly. I thought it was tougher than people realized, but I don't see how they can beat Ohio State with all these guys banged up. I don't know. Maybe I like Marcus Freeman a lot, though, Kelly. You know how much I like that guy. Big Marcus Freeman fan here.
I think he's definitely the better head coach.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. Okay. Well, now that we've done that, should we touch on some divisional round? Let's talk about your commies.
So so wild card weekend, we did fantastic in the first game. Houston beat San Diego, or the Chargers. That was a really good win for us. Then it was just like boom, boom, boom. Ravens loser, Bills loser, Eagles loser. It's like, oh my God. So we go to Sunday Night Football. It was the Commanders, that's their name, and they at Tampa Bay. We did pretty well in that game. Tampa Bay or Washington wins the game on a doink field goal.
That was crazy.
We did pretty well, and then we did pretty well on Monday Night Football.
There was Minnesota, 2 doinks. Have you noticed an excessive amount of doinks? Like, are we going to get a doink in the Super Bowl prop market from the Superbook this year? Like, will there be a doink?
I hope we don't do that one. I don't really like that prop. I don't know.
There's been a lot of doinks this year, like an excessive amount.
Maybe we'll have like the KIV doink prop, and it'll be sponsored by you.
It'll be like 17-1.
Yeah.
It's going to get the last play of the game. Someone's going to kick a game-winning field goal and it's going to doink. And then the Westgate fires me. And they're like, we are done with her.
Yeah. We hate Kelly in Vegas at the Westgate.
Doink.
So the weekend started off great. The middle was like so-so. Then it ended pretty well. You open this game, Houston, Kansas City. So that's the first game. That game is Saturday, the early game. I feel like Houston is like legally bound to always play in Saturday early afternoon time slot. I don't think they ever get to do anything else. We're going to have so many money line parlays and teasers with Kansas City. And we've got, we're trying to stay a little on the high side of the money line. Right now we've got $5 Chiefs money line. How could the Chiefs lose? I mean,
how could the Lions lose?
I mean, they're not.
It's going to be like this. It's going to start off. It's going to go Kansas City, Eagles, Lions, Ohio State, 14 money line parlay all weekend long. Everybody that goes into the sportsbook, that's what they're going to bet all weekend long.
They already are. And I can tell you, if you're looking for sharp action on the first game, Chiefs -4.5 first half. We had a respected group bet that. We're up to 6 on that first half. I'm just reporting the action. So the late game is so fun. It's amazing that the Commanders are in the second round of the playoffs. The Commanders haven't been to the divisional round. Well, thank you. They were actually known as the Redskins back at this time. So this was January of 2006. I was actually a student at West Virginia University. The then Redskins played at the Buccaneers in the wild card game. So me and my dad and my brother flew to Tampa Bay. We went the morning of the game. We went to the
Were
game.
you even old enough to drink beer? Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were old enough to drink beer.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. But so this is like, we had cell phones back then, but we didn't have like Twitter and smartphones.
Yeah, but the cell phone didn't even work in the stadium. It was like a brick.
Right. Exactly. So the game's going on, and the Redskins star safety, Sean Taylor, rest in peace, he gets thrown out of the game. So Taylor is like being taken down the runway or the hallway, whatever it's called, the tunnel. And me and my brother are up in the crowd, and we're like, where the hell is Sean Taylor going? What the hell's going on? Because we don't know. And then we get back to the hotel after the game, Sean Taylor, unfortunately, had spit in another player's face. And
I
he was
remember
ejected
that.
from the game. I was at that game. It was the Buccaneers quarterback was Chris Sims, and
I've
the
argued with
coaching.
that guy on Twitter before.
I believe
The worst Texas quarterback ever.
if I have this right, the coaching matchup was Joe Gibbs against John Gruden. So a really exceptionally good coaching matchup.
Yeah.
Not the best quarterback matchup. The Redskins starting quarterback was Mark Brunell. But the Redskins did win the game. They advanced and they lost at Seattle the week after. 19 years later, here they go. They're going to Detroit to play the Lions. Redskins are getting a lot of tickets. There's a lot of bets on them.
Really?
We had this game 10.5. We went down to 10, took a big bet at 10. Now we're at 9.5, and there's money continuing to come in on Washington. Now, you're right. The money line parlays and the teasers with Kansas City and Detroit, I mean, it's going to be all weekend, right? But there are a lot of bets on Washington plus the number. Kelly.
I'm surprised. I love Washington this week. I think the Detroit's a lot more hurt than anybody recognizes. And the bye, yes, they're going to win the game. The Detroit Lions are going to win the game, but the bye is not beneficial for teams against the number. Historically, it's just not been a great bet if you want to lay it. So I don't blame
true?
you. Yeah.
I'll find it. Is that actually a stat?
Hold
Give
on.
me that stat.
2010.
I'm not going to hold on. What?
2010 teams, they got a first round bye, 36-12 straight up, 23-24 against the spread. As home favorites are higher, 23-6 straight up, 13-16. So 44%.
Yeah. Okay.
And opponents.
Then maybe you'll like this one then, because the early game Sunday, we did see some money on the Rams. So that was mostly because we opened higher than the market because our risk guys are just shameless Eagles homers, you know.
Oh boy.
So we had a high number on them, but we did take some money. Rams plus 6.5. We're down to 6, and then the best game of the weekend is obviously the game Sunday, the late game Sunday, Baltimore, Buffalo. I think these are the two best teams in the NFL.
In the NFL, not just AFC.
I think so, and I think to me, for my money, these two quarterbacks were the two best players in the league this season.
Yes, I agree.
And we opened this game Buffalo 1.5, steamed the other way. Now Baltimore is -1. We didn't really see the bets here on Baltimore. We followed the steam.
Followed the market.
Switched to a new favorite. Just a great game. I mean, just a great game, and I think I don't know what our need is going to be because you've got all these other games, and you mentioned it already. You're right, and the college game Monday. You've got all these other games with like relatively big favorites. You know what the public's going to do with those money lines and teasers. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with the Baltimore game. Right now, the ticket count here, I mean, this is only Thursday afternoon, but the ticket count here is really, really split. Just a really massive game to see who loses to Kansas City next weekend, right? So that'll be the end result.
You got to know there was a prompt floating around. I think I got to see I don't remember which book. Anyway, it was the Lions, Kansas City, Ohio State. I gotta find it. Anyway, I was like, I want to bet. Well, Ohio State win the national championship, the Lions win the NFC, Kansas City win the AFC, or something like that. And it was like, yes, -105, no plus. I don't remember, but I was like, yeah, I need to find money to bet that.
I would bet the no.
Yeah,
you should bet the no.
I think it was -125. So obviously the split was awful, but I was like, I need to bet that.
We don't, as far as sharp money. I mean, I would say. I mentioned Kansas City first half. I mentioned the switch in the favorite to Baltimore, but at least here with our book, that was mostly just us following steam. And then I did mention Notre Dame plus 9.5. But that's pretty much it as far as like the big games. I mean, these are going to be high volume games. We got a whole bunch of our big VIP customers are in this weekend. So it's a pretty exciting week, really. I mean, it's going to be 5 very high volume football games. So it'll be good. And then NFL's almost over when it's over. That's the best part.
And you're going to be so happy. Are you coming to last call this weekend, by the way? Do we establish? I tried to call you yesterday to ask if you're coming to Ireland. I tried to call you yesterday if Aunt Helen needed to get you a ticket to the game. Tried to call you to see if you're coming on last call, and you just didn't even text me.
You tried to call me 3 times? No, you didn't.
No, I tried to call you for those 3 things.
So one call.
Yes, I was going to call you 3 times. I'm not a crazy ex-girlfriend. Anyway,
I don't. So I've told you before. The Premier League schedule won't come out until like May. So I don't know.
Okay, so if the Premier League schedule isn't out, okay, that's fine. No worries. We'll get it figured out. I'm just going to buy you a ticket, and somebody will use it if you don't. How about that? Because I'm a good friend.
So no, you are. Well, you are a good friend. Actually, you're a terrific friend. As far as last call, I feel like. Can I say I feel like it's too early because I'm like all my other media obligations this weekend are all being pushed back because the games are being pushed back by 2 hours.
We're a college basketball show, so we want to get on before tip off. And Sunday is going to go away really soon.
College basketball.
Yeah, Sunday's going to go away really soon. Right. So it'll just be a Saturday show, and I just made a really big kid brain decision because I really don't want to host for baseball season. So I text Ariel. I was like, can WagerTalk pay you to host last call baseball Saturdays? And I think I got a yes, which makes me so happy to be able to have Saturdays off, especially because who wants to talk about baseball? Maybe you'll go on with her and talk about.
Can I go on with Ariel? I love Ariel. I love baseball.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be a good show.
You in. I'll pivot you from Sundays after March Madness, and I'll pivot you to Saturdays for.
I might occasionally.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'll ask Art to Caesar. He's the best. Okay, so I'm laughing because I was getting ready to start the mailbag, and I read the first question. I'm like, oh, our producers don't know about that, so we're gonna go ahead and pass on the first question because.
I just read the first mailbag question. It is very taboo. I don't think we can answer that question.
I don't think we should answer it either because there's a lot of.
I don't. Can I say that I don't? For one thing, I don't know the answer. Do you know the answer?
Oh, I have no idea. I know that he went and worked for the NFL Network for a little bit. That was the last I heard.
Well, then we can't answer the question.
The show. Maybe he misses us, John, because we treated him so well.
I was nice to him.
Yeah, so was I. But he wasn't nice to one of my friends, and that to me is all you need to know. All right, Golf Guy 91 on X. In recent years, what type of prop has been the most commonly bet player prop for the Super Bowl? First, before you answer that, when is the prop packet coming out? Because we need to do a show.
Good point. So the guys are they're meeting on, I got my calendar in front of me here. They're meeting on the 28th and the 29th. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, after the conference title games to put together all the prop numbers and then release them on Thursday, January 30th. Boy, you know what I just realized?
Ooh.
I have on my calendar, I was going to go to the Golden Knights game on that night. I guess I'm not going to go. That sucks.
Did you give your ticket to our producer, Louis D'Onofrio? He loves going to Golden Knights games.
Louis D'Onofrio is going to be here on Thursday, January 30th.
I mean, it's nothing. Just to book a flight and come out to Vegas for a Golden Knights game. He's a huge fan.
That's the level of planning I do. What an absolute jabron.
Do you see why I call you? Look at my schedule, John. This is my weekly schedule. I have everything written out. This is why I call you for stuff in August because I need to know ahead of time.
No, I know. That's my bad. But no, damn it. That sucks. So 28th and 29th, they're going to make the numbers. 30th at probably 7 p.m. on Thursday the 30th. No, counter
and app. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so now on to Golf Guy's question.
All right.
What has been the most commonly bet player prop for the Super Bowl?
You know what they like now? They really like to bet, will a player score 2+ touchdowns?
Oh.
That's the new one that's like all the rave. Like you do all the rage. That's what I meant to say. You do all these different players to score 2+ touchdowns, usually at a pretty high payout. But the most commonly bet one is still, and probably will be as long as we're doing it, the MVP. The MVP. Super Bowl MVP is so popular. It's amazing that it's only been 10 years since we were able to start doing it. The Bronco Carolina game was the first one in Nevada when Von Miller won MVP. That's still the most popular.
Okay. Yeah. I have a picture of me in the convention center with my Von Miller jersey on and my Von Miller MVP ticket. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. Okay, next question.
Sportsbook did very well on that game. Trust me, that was great.
That was a great game. At Flying Redbirds 23 on XS, who has been the most bet team to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think the most of the. I mean, he's only talking about the teams that are left in it. I mean, the team with the most tickets that's left is by far Kansas City. I can't imagine that's a big shock. Kansas City going for their third Super Bowl in a row, fourth in 6 years. So Kansas City for sure has the most tickets and has the most liability of the teams, I think, of anybody now. Because the one team that we had a lot of liability to was Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh is out. So now it's really Kansas City. Pittsburgh, I mean, what are the Steelers doing with Russell Wilson at quarterback?
What are they doing with Mike Tomlin?
What was that?
What are we doing with Mike Tomlin?
I don't know.
I've never seen so much Mike Tomlin hate in my life.
Hold on. I just got a mailbag question from Brett. Oh, I got to read it.
Oh, yeah?
Brett has the ability. Brett's got the ability to live mailbag question me.
Which is funny because he's texting me as well, but I wasn't going to be rude and be on my cell phone because if I was rude and on my cell phone, you would call me out for it.
So you think that's true. So you're blaming me for Brett's question.
Go ahead. Ask a question.
Brett's question: does the Westgate have hypothetical spreads for AFC and NFC championship matchups? Same question for the Super Bowl. What does John make the spread for Chiefs Ravens or Chiefs Bills? So that's the AFC championship game. The Chiefs are going to beat Houston on Saturday. I don't know what's going to happen in Bills Ravens. But we do have. I don't have to make up a number. We do have bettable numbers.
Ooh.
Chiefs 1.5 versus Bills. Ravens 1.5 at Chiefs. Those are bettable numbers here at the Westgate. I have a feeling that unless Kansas City really puts it on Houston on Saturday, I have a feeling when the game is actually set that whoever wins Sunday will end up being favored. Like if Buffalo really beats, let's say Buffalo beats Baltimore by 2 touchdowns, which I don't think is going to happen. It's hard for me to believe that they wouldn't be favored in that game because I do think Baltimore and Buffalo are the 2 best teams. But just the fact that Kansas City is 1.5 at home against Buffalo shows you that we have a slightly higher power rating for them.
All right.
Thanks for the question, Brett.
Good question, Brett. There was no personal biases aside in that one. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl at the Westgate. What you guys are going to have going on. Who people need to get a hold of to get booths and or go to the convention center and or go to the theater because it is a spectacle. If you've never been to Vegas for the Super Bowl, it is an all-out party. And it's nice because it's different. There's different levels, right? At the Westgate. You can have the all-you-can-eat and drink, which is really fun, which is what I did the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl. I've spent it in the theater where it's kind of like you pay for a ticket in the theater, you get yourself a seat, you hang out, or you can be in the sports book and have a lovely lady named Maria or Hannah bring you margaritas until your face falls off.
Is that what you did? Margaritas?
Last year when we were in the clubhouse, yeah, we were drinking margs. It got spicy.
That Super Bowl was the worst, man. That was the worst.
I literally had my phone open, saw that they scored the touchdown, didn't say goodbye to anybody at my Super Bowl party, and walked out the door and walked right up to my room. Like we're supposed to go to didn't care.
Had you settled your bill with Hannah?
Of course not. I let somebody else handle it.
We'll have we got VIP seating in the sports book, like Kelly mentioned, booths, pods, charging tables, the clubhouse, party in the theater, party in the ballroom, games on all over the place. I'll be here. I'm going to just sit here by myself.
In your office?
In my office. I'm not going to say hello to anyone. I'll just be here. I got a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue over there. And I'm just
you're allowed to drink on the job now that you're the VP.
I don't think so. Allowed to? No. I just was going to do it anyway.
Oh.
And I was just going to sit here. Maybe I'll bring in my 2 doggies, my little pug Mario, my beagle Ellie, and just sit here and watch the game by myself in silence. Does that sound like fun?
That sounds awful. Let's pivot to college hoops. At TS Finky on X wants to know, are there any bad outcomes for the book on college hoops champion, or has it been spread around too much early in the year?
Yeah, I looked at that actually today. So we do have a little bit of a liability building up on Duke. And that Cooper flag is awesome, man. Jeez, that kid's awesome. So Duke right now looks like the team we'd be wanting to avoid of the realistic favorites. So but really looking at our positions, they look pretty good. We're doing pretty well on a number of the other favorites. I'm looking at it right now. Auburn is a small loser, but it looks pretty solid. Iowa State's a small loser too, but we're looking pretty good. We'll be okay on Florida unless the Ravens win the Super Bowl. Then we're screwed.
Yeah, I think you're going to be just fine. I think Florida already peaked too early. I got on them early, then they just went on a tear, and then now they just lost to Mizzou at home. Come on, it's Mizzou. Again, I took the 10.5. They weren't supposed to lose the game in Gainesville outright. Let me pull open the mailbag questions. Oh, UFC 311 is this weekend. So Vince in PGH wants to know anything to report.
Yeah, so on top of everything else we mentioned, we got 4 NFL playoff games, the college football championship game. UFC 311 is at the Intuit Dome in LA, the new home of the Clippers, and it's an awesome card, multiple title fights. I can't say that we've seen our best UFC accounts on this event yet. Not really. I'm looking through it. Not really. I mean, there's a lot of action on it. What you're going to end up with is a lot of parlays going to Islam in the main event. He's the champion, but I wouldn't call any of the bets I've seen so far from our most respected UFC accounts.
All right.
So, but usually those best UFC accounts, just so you guys know, they're not really betting the big pay-per-view main card fights. They're on the edges, looking more like the prelim fights.
All right, Kevin at 5. Kevin Boss wants to know, does Westgate offer futures for UFC champs? And does the public anchor dominant fighters like Makachev to their parlays? I also see Makachev, Ohio State, and Chiefs moneyline parlays.
Well, the answer to the second question is yes. So they definitely will throw a big, high-profile fight, high-profile favorite into their football parlays. Andrew Babakidis, you know Andrew. He does a lot of UFC media for us. He's kind of a rising star, I think. And he does he's starting to get tagged in Twitter by these goofballs, the kind of people that always tag you, the people that I just ignore. He's starting to get anyone's welcome to come talk to me in person. I'm happy to speak to people. I don't want to go back and forth with people on social media. I'm sorry. But Andrew
have that much free time on your hands or what?
I just don't want to. I don't want to. So, but Andrew, it's true. I talk to people in person, but Andrew is starting to get tagged on some of that stuff. He puts up who will be the champion at the end of the year. So the answer to the guy's question is yes. Kevin's question, is yes. You can bet who will be the heavyweight champion at the end of the year, except courtesy of Mr. Babakidis. He does a good job with it.
He does do a very good job. He was supposed to come on last call, and then you screwed up everybody's schedule. So that's why you have to do it. So I'll see you on Sunday and every foreseeable Sunday through the Super Bowl, except for the Sunday.
I'm not working the
Sunday. New Orleans.
Well, I'm not going to work the Sunday of the bye week. I'm playing golf.
Oh, yeah. That's
like a bye week.
Fine. You're going to be out that week. So am I. So that works out well.
And you're flying to New Orleans the same day. Got it.
Okay, great.
Easy. Okay. So what else do you have for me? Anything?
Nope, that's all I got.